Okay, it is now time to display our score and timer on the screen. So first of all, what I want to do is I want to look at our first person character, and we will create another variable called timer, which will of course be an integer. There we go. So we'll set the default value of timer once we've compiled it, set that to 10. So the value of this variable here needs to match the timer that we set, the delay we set right at the start of this project. The variable timer is used for display only. The delay that we set in the level blueprint here, this actually controls when the level ends, when you run out of time. So this and this need to match. So we've set this to 10. So we need to find this event begin play pin here, and we need to add a sequence. So on event begin play, it does the default stuff, but we also want it to want a 1 second delay here. This will make sense in a minute. Once that delay is completed, there we go, we'll set this integer minus integer. And we'll also need to get timer. So make sure you've grabbed all of these. So once this delay has completed, want to grab the timer, subtract 1, feed that back. And then of course once it's set it will delay. So we're making a loop here essentially. It will delay for 1 second and set the timer -1 again. So we have a timer variable for display that's initially set to 10. When the game starts, it will delay by 1 second. It will get the current value of our timer, which will be 10. It will subtract 1 from that, and it will set the new value of timer to 10 - 1. It will then loop back round, delay for another second, grab the value of timer, subtract it by 1. So what you'll get on the screen is a countdown on the screen. I'm just going to make sure these are all saved as well. Okay, so how do we display these? We need to right click in our content browser, add widget, we'll call it HUD, and we'll open this up. So we need to add, I'm going to add some text for now, text block. This will be the text block that displays our score, and this will be the text block that just says score. So this will say score, and this is the block we're going to feed our text into. We'll also want timer and a new text block will be the one we feed our timer into. We're also going to fake a live system here. We only have one. As soon as you get hit by the enemy, which we'll show later, obviously the level will end and you'll have used your only life. So there we go, sort of fake lives display up here. Okay, so at the moment these are just text blocks. Now what we need to do is we need to scroll just to bind on our text block options. We'll go create binding. So this will give you basically a blueprint for that block of text. Now to display the to display the score, first of all, I'm going to cast to first person character, and we'll go next, we'll feed that pin into there. We're going to get the player character. There we are. Goes into object here. So as the first person character, we're going to get score. There we are. And this is our output. It's called a return node, and that will convert our score. So this interface here will always be displaying our score from our first person character. So let's just try this out. We need to first of all add our HUD. So we're going to add another sequence. Off this new sequence, we'll go create widget, and we'll pick our HUD widget, and then we'll say add to viewport. Need to connect these 2 pins here, and that will draw our HUD on the screen. Okay, so now we go back into our widget. I'm just going to move these across. When you guys create them, I will create them a little further across to start with. Okay, let's see if our score works. There we go, and you can see the score on our HUD has incremented by 1. So the next step is to go into our HUD, and we'll do the same for our timer. So we'll go text, create binding, and we will say, as before, cast to first person character. There we go, get player character. Pops into there. That one goes into here. We'll need to get timer of the first person character. Connect these pins just like that, and this will draw our timer on our HUD. So let's see if this works. There we go, and we have our HUD counting down in the top right corner here. Okay, so that is how we draw our score, our lives, and our timer onto the screen in Unreal Engine.